When we talk of microvascular angina and microvascular dysfunction, there's a lot of overlap. The atherosclerotic epicardial coronary arteries we know of. We also know that there could be a vasospastic disease of these epicardial arteries. But when we talk of microvascular dysfunction, we have to understand that it impairs the coronary physiology and myovascular blood flow in subjects. And this would contribute to myocardial ischemia and also in acute situations of the ischemic Takotsubo disease. Now, epicardial coronary arteries contribute to only 5% of the coronary flow, and the remaining 95% is what we miss in chronic stable angina and also after revascularization in myocardial infarction. And this is probably the mainstay of producing microvascular dysfunction in a non-obstructive, a non-flow limiting, but yet a coronary artery disease. And this slow flow in the microvascular circulation or a delayed myocardial clearing would produce myocardial injury and contributes to a cardiomyocyte death. Now, understanding that this coronary microvascular dysfunction is dependent on the risk factors, but also dependent on n number of factors contributed by the coronary perfusion. Now, if we see the atherosclerotic aortic coronary disease, the percentage remains the same, but the microvascular angina is increasing over time, and this probably is often missed during the epicardial coronary artery evaluation. It's not only the microvascular circulation, but it is also the endothelial dysfunction, the vasoreactivity of the coronaries, and associated spasm, bridge, or other causes. We should not forget that this produces a change in the sarcolemma. It produces a change in the cytoskeletal disorganization, altered ion distribution, the sodium and calcium channels, and would lead to a contracture of the myofibrils with dependent cell swelling, a decreased ATP, and finally contributing to your dysfunction. Now, when we talk of ischemia with non-obstructive coronary artery disease, we have an armamentarium which is loaded with all facilities. But when we have to see the microcirculation, we have to rely on the FFR, the CFR, and the IMR, and also see the vasoreactivity and the effect of acetylcholine. It goes without saying that even if you have a normal coronary artery, your mass rate could be high. And this implies that your survival depends not only on the ischemia and angina, it depends not only on the atherosclerotic burden, but on the microvasculature. And contrary to the common perception that if you exclude obstructive CAG, your prognosis might be good. Here you can see that even in a non-obstructive coronary artery disease, the event rate continues to be high. And the same would imply for the acetylcholine-induced vasoconstriction or dilatation. A failure of acetyl-induced vasoconstriction or a vasodilatation changes your prognosis quite significantly. So the prevalence of non-obstructive disease is significantly higher in women, and here we have to understand the different etiology, but the mainstay is microvascular dysfunction, and that contributes to a higher MACE rate even in the absence of obstructive coronary artery disease. Not going in the implications of management, but we have to realize what has changed over time. If we go from the 2013 European Society guidelines, from the word of stable coronary artery disease, they have now moved on to a chronic coronary syndrome in 19. And to our advantage, a chapter has been included with angina without obstructive disease in the epicardial arteries, and also the escalation of recommendation for trimetazidine now moving on from 2B to 2A, implying that probably we are targeting the microvasculature, including nicorandil, ranolazine, ivabradine, and trimetazidine, all moving from 2B to 2A. If we go to the Indian guidelines, way back in 2016, Indian Heart Journal, a review was published emphasizing the importance of these drugs, and in JAPI in 2021. So what are the possible mechanisms for microvascular dysfunction? We'll probably give an emphasis on the oxygen paradox, the calcium paradox, the pH paradox, inflammation, and opening of the mitochondrial PTP channel. Oxygen reoxygenation probably contributes to the damage of the microvasculature, and we can intervene by providing nitric oxide donors like nicorandil. The reactive oxygen species contribute to this by the free radicals and the nascent oxygen, and all this leads to lipid peroxidation. The leukocyte movement contributing to inflammation and leading to an endothelial cell adhesion, and complements not to ignore C5a, all alter the vascular homeostasis and increasing the dysfunction. Number of trials have tried to prevent these inflammatory markers, the CANTOS and the COLCOT trial. We have to look in detail of the prospective benefits in microvascular dysfunction. The calcium paradox can be prevented by attenuating the intracellular calcium overload, by inhibiting the sodium-hydrogen exchanger, and the pH paradox by preventing a rapid change in the pH with reperfusion. The opening of the mitochondrial PTP channel with reperfusion contributes to this menace, and the expression of the pro-inflammatory genes and repression of the protective genes all contribute to this microvascular dysfunction, and not forgetting the reperfusion injuries, the stunning, and the no reflow phenomena. So friends, if we can prevent the risk pathway, we can prevent the PTP opening, would help a long way in preventing this microvascular dysfunction and the protein kinase C, which helps to our advantage. So this journey of unstable angina, microvascular dysfunction, and the future probably has number of potholes, and we should be careful when we see this journey of unstable angina, chronic stable angina, and reperfusion microvascular. Thank you so much.